What's going on, Cowboys fans? Chris Daughtry stepping in again here for Tom Downey this week. We're breaking down Cowboys versus Bears, America's game of the week on Fox in Week 3. Cowboys, according to ESPN right now, a 1.5-point favorite in this return game for Matt Eberflus going back to Chicago. 49.5 points is the total over-under according to ESPN. I think you need to be pounding that over because, let's be honest, neither defense has really looked good so far this season. Let's break it down here. Let's get into some of these Cowboys injuries to monitor first up. DaRon Bland and KaVontae Turpin are really the two injuries for the Cowboys that we, aren't real sure what's going to go on yet for those guys. Both of them are going to be questionable for this game. It is Tuesday evening right now when this video is going out, so we're going to find more. Wednesday is when that first practice report comes out. Sounds like DaRon Bland's probably not going to be good to go for this game, according to Jerry Jones. And KaVontae Turpin, sounds for him, he's got that trap injury. Sounds like he actually might have a pretty good chance to go in this ball game. Over to the Bears now. Jaylon Johnson, one of their better corners. He is expected to be out for the season. Kyler Gordon, he's dealing with a hamstring injury right now. He's probably going to be out again this week. Hasn't played so far for the Bears this year. TJ Edwards, linebacker, he's dealing with a hamstring injury that he re-aggravated in Week 2. He might end up being out this week. And then Grady Jarrett on the interior of that defensive line. He has been kind of banged up dealing with a knee injury as well. He played in Week 2, but according to our Bears host Harrison Graham, he did not look very good in that game. So that's definitely going to be another injury for the Bears that we want to continue to monitor. So I want you guys, if you want the Cowboys to go to Chicago and beat the Bears, like today's video for me. Don't be the one Cowboys fan that doesn't like this video and then the Cowboys end up losing this game. It's all going to be on you. So get down there and like today's video if you want the Cowboys to get a win in Week 3. All right, let's get into some keys to victory now. Number 1 is get the big 3 going early. You got to be able to take advantage of this Bears secondary. With Jaylon Johnson out, our old friend Nahshon Wright is probably going to be filling in his spot. The Lions this past week when they played the Bears, they absolutely shredded their secondary. Jared Goff was nearly perfect in that game, going 23 for 28, over 330 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions. Both Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams both had over 100 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns combined for those guys. So, man, if you can get CeeDee Lamb going, if you could get George Pickens and Jake Ferguson going in this game, I definitely think that you can take advantage of this Bears secondary. Last week versus the Lions, Tyreek Stevenson and Nick McLeod really got picked on by Jared Goff. Both of those guys allowed 97 yards, 3 touchdowns combined allowed for both of those guys. Really wasn't able to do anything consistently for that Bears defense. Both of them grading out in the 30s as well by PFF for their coverage grade. So this Cowboys offense, they are really cooking here, especially in that second game of the season against the Giants. Going into Chicago against a not very good Chicago team right now, I think they got a good opportunity to get those guys going and score a lot of points in this one. So let me know down at the pinned comment of today's video who you guys got in this one. If you're a Cowboys fan watching this video, you should get down there and spam your C's. But it is a democracy. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you guys got? Type C for the Cowboys or B for the Bears. Let me know down at the pinned comment of today's show. Number 2, key to victory here, you got to be able to generate some pressure on Caleb Williams. He's been okay so far this year. I think at times, he definitely gets flustered in some of these games. 61% completion percentage for him so far this year. 4 total touchdowns, including 3 passing and 1 rushing touchdown. He's done a decent enough job as well taking care of the football. But when Caleb Williams is kept clean, he's actually pretty dang decent in Week 2. You can see his stats right there. Pretty high completion percentage on that front. Really good passing grade. 200 yards basically passing there. The Cowboys, though, have actually done a really good job generating pressure without actually having to blitz. You can see this pressure efficiency metric that we've got right here. Cowboys are actually the 5th highest team in the NFL right now, generating pressure without actually blitzing the quarterback. So they're doing a good job doing that. And Caleb Williams, he does get flustered when he's under pressure. My high school baseball coach used to, say that, when things get hot, you guys just melt. He used to call some guys mental marshmallows. And, Caleb Williams at times has kind of fallen into that bucket, I think. But one thing you also have to do is you also have to maintain your rush lanes. You can't just get crazy getting up the field, rushing the quarterback and just getting him outside the pocket. He is still an athlete, and he can still beat you and he can hurt you, especially on third down. So, yes, you do want to generate some pressure. You want to get him to the ground, but you also have to keep him inside that pocket because he's still an athlete and he's still pretty quick and he could still hurt you if you let him get outside the pocket. All right, we'll continue with our keys to victory here in just a second, but today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can actually get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I use Prize Picks for so many different types of sporting events, whether it's professional football, basketball, baseball, MMA, boxing, college sports, and so much more. Prize Picks is a ton of fun, and if you guys know ball, you can win real money all season long on Prize Picks. This is what we got cooked up for our power play slate this weekend. Tua Tagovailoa less than on the passing yards. Josh Jacobs more than. Just needs one touchdown there for Josh Jacobs. It could be receiving or it could be rushing. Also, this is the max discount. Patrick Mahomes only needs a half passing yard. So make sure you guys get those into your Prize Picks lineups this week. Prize Picks is super simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if you get your picks right, you can cash in and win up to 2,000 times your money today. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks does not hit. So download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That link's going to be down at the pinned comment of today's show. It's also going to be down in the description of today's show as well. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Key to victory number 3 here is going to be maintain your assignments. Beware of this eye candy. Ben Johnson loves to use pre-snap motion and some misdirection in his offense. And, if you are a defensive end on this Cowboys team, you have to be able to set the edge. Don't get sucked in trying to make a play. Let those guys on the interior, whether it's Kenny Clark or Osa or those linebackers, end up making some of those tackles on some of those inside runs that the Bears do like to do. Also, communication in the secondary. I think that's something that lacked last week against the Giants. Last week, there were multiple times where it was either the cornerback or the linebacker would pass a guy off to the safeties thinking that there was going to be some safety help over top, and there just wasn't. That's kind of why you got beat so many times deep in that ball game. And I don't necessarily know who was to blame, who was wrong on those plays. It could have been either guy. Like I said, it was miscommunication at the end of the day. But, you cannot let some of these wide receivers for the Bears like Rome Odunze or, DJ Moore cook you all day long like you let Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson do to you last week. So predict the score for me down in the comment section. 2 Cowboys versus Bears. Let me know. Are they going to hit the over? Are the Cowboys going to cover the spread in this one? Or are they going to straight up lose the game? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section of today's show. Key to victory number 4 here is going to be another maintain. Maintain your intensity. This Bears team has been very back and forth in their 2 games so far this season. They've obviously lost both games, but I thought at times in the games, they've actually looked pretty decent. They just were not able to maintain that intensity. At times, DeAndre Swift has looked really good, and the offensive line has played pretty well at times, and then just one thing kind of goes wrong, whether it's a penalty or something like that. They just fall apart. They were up 17-6 in the fourth quarter versus the Vikings. The Vikings ended up scoring 21 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win that ball game. Their offensive drives, for the Bears versus the Lions this past week, they were moving the ball downfield. It was kind of the same exact thing. And then one setback happened one penalty, something crazy would happen to them, and then they would just fall apart. So I don't think that this Bears team is just very mentally strong right now, and I don't think they're very mentally strong enough to win a game if it ends up being a shootout. I think this Dallas Cowboys team is mentally tougher than them. Key to victory number 5. I think this one is going to be super underrated. I don't think a lot of people are really going to think about this. Get as close as you can on these field goal opportunities. I understand that we love it when Brandon Aubrey goes out there and nails 50-plus yard field goals, 60-plus yard field goals. But Chicago is a very tough place to play. The wind swirls in the end zone. You get some crosswinds at time. You get random gusts of wind. If this game comes down to another field goal opportunity, you want to be able to make it as easy as possible for Brandon Aubrey. So it's not just going to be getting to the 50-yard line to have Brandon Aubrey kick those 60-yard field goals. Get it inside the 30 if you're going to end up settling, especially if it comes down to a field goal, like I said, at the end of the game. So I'm going to go Cowboys win this ball game. I'm going to go with the over. I think both defenses aren't probably going to be very good in this game. Hopefully, Matt Eberflus can dial something up and, like I said, get some pressure on Caleb Williams. I've got the Cowboys winning this one and covering the spread as well, 41-35.